Before the world truly understood what modern war would become, a quiet revolution was already underway. In the laboratories, factories, and secret facilities across the United States, a new kind of conflict was being forged, one that was mechanized, scientific, and terrifyingly efficient. The Second World War wasn't just fought with soldiers and courage. It was a war of ideas, of innovation, and of industrial might. While the world watched the front lines, a silent battle of technology was unfolding behind the scenes. And by the time the guns fell silent in 1945, the very nature of warfare had been changed forever. This is the story of how American technology transformed World War II and, in doing so, reshaped our world. When the United States entered the war, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, it wasn't fully prepared for a global conflict. But what America lacked in immediate readiness, it more than made up for with its incredible industrial power and relentless innovation. The nation rapidly transformed itself into what President Franklin D. Roosevelt famously called the arsenal of democracy. Factories that once built cars and refrigerators were retooled almost overnight to produce engines of war. Assembly lines, once a symbol of peacetime prosperity, began churning out tanks, aircraft, ships, and weapons at a speed and scale the world had never witnessed. This industrial miracle didn't just equip America's own military, it armed its allies across the globe, from Europe to Asia, fueling the fight against the Axis powers. One of the most decisive American advantages was in the sky. The development of long-range bombers like the legendary B-17 Flying Fortress and the advanced B-29 Super Fortress completely revolutionized aerial warfare. These incredible machines could fly higher, farther, and carry heavier bomb loads than anything that came before them, protected by a bristle of defensive machine guns and escorted by an equally iconic fighter. The P-51 Mustang, American bombers turned the skies into a new, crucial battlefield. Strategic bombing campaigns relentlessly targeted enemy factories, railways, and cities, aiming to cripple their ability to wage war from within. The B-29, in particular, was a leap into the future. It featured pressurized cabins for high-altitude flight, advanced navigation systems, and the unprecedented ability to strike deep into the heart of enemy territory, bringing the war home in a way that was previously unimaginable. Naval technology also evolved at a staggering pace. The war signaled the dramatic end of the battleship's reign and the rise of a new king of the seas, the aircraft carrier. American carriers became floating air bases, capable of projecting immense power across the vast expanses of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. But perhaps the true game-changer was radar. Still a relatively new technology before the war, radar became the eyes of the fleet. It allowed ships and aircraft to detect enemies far beyond visual range, turning the element of surprise into a strategic advantage. When combined with sonar technology used to hunt submarines, this gave the U.S. Navy a decisive edge in the critical battle of the Atlantic, where German U-boats had once threatened to sever the vital supply lines to Britain. The ability to see the unseen became one of the most powerful weapons in the Allied arsenal. On the ground, American engineering prioritized three key things: mobility, firepower, and above all, reliability. The M for Sherman tank, while not the most heavily armored tank on the battlefield, was a marvel of production. It was fast, dependable, and produced in such massive numbers that it could overwhelm its opponents through sheer quantity and operational readiness. American forces perfected the science of logistics, the art of moving soldiers, fuel, ammunition, and food efficiently across enormous distances. Trucks, transport vehicles, and the iconic Jeep became just as important as the weapons themselves. The simple, rugged, and endlessly adaptable Jeep became a symbol of this philosophy. It was a testament to the idea that modern war wasn't just won by brute strength, but by speed, supply, and the ability to keep an army moving forward, no matter the obstacle. But the most dramatic and most fearsome technological leap of the war didn't happen on any battlefield. It happened in secret. The Manhattan Project was the most ambitious and clandestine scientific undertaking in human history. Tens of thousands of scientists, engineers, and workers labored in complete secrecy across the country, all dedicated to a single, terrifying goal: to unlock the power of the atom. The result of their work was the atomic bomb, a weapon so powerful it instantly and permanently altered global politics, warfare, and our very concept of survival. When atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, they brought the war to an abrupt and devastating end, but they also ushered in a new, uncertain era. Technology had reached a point where a single weapon, deployed in a single moment, could annihilate an entire city. The revolution in technology extended into the hidden world of intelligence and communication. American cryptographers worked tirelessly around the clock to break enemy codes, giving Allied commanders a priceless view into their adversaries' plans. At the same time, secure radio communication allowed for the coordination of incredibly complex operations across land, sea, and air. This was also the dawn of the digital age. Early room-sized computers were developed to calculate artillery trajectories with unprecedented speed and accuracy, to process vast amounts of data, and to assist in the complex scientific research of the Manhattan Project. These machines were slow and primitive by today's standards, but they were the ancestors of the digital world we live in now. Born from the crucible of war, even the science of saving lives was revolutionized. American researchers pioneered the mass production of penicillin, turning a once fatal battlefield wound infection into a treatable condition and saving countless lives. Advanced blood transfusion systems, mobile field hospitals that could be set up close to the front lines, and improved surgical techniques all dramatically increased survival rates for wounded soldiers. For the first time in history, science wasn't just focused on creating more effective ways to win battles. It was also being harnessed to preserve life on an unprecedented scale, a beacon of hope amidst the destruction. By the time World War II ended, the United States emerged not just as a military victor, but as the world's undisputed technological superpower. The immense pressure of the war had accelerated innovation by decades. Technologies that were once theoretical or experimental, like jet engines, nuclear energy, computers, and rockets, were now a reality. These wartime innovations would soon spill over into civilian life, shaping the modern world in every conceivable way. From the dawn of the space race to the creation of global communication networks. But this incredible progress came with a profound and heavy cost. The same technologies that brought victory also introduced new and terrifying fears. The atomic age brought with it the chilling realization that humanity now possessed the power for its own self-destruction. The war proved that technology could be both salvation and threat, an engine of creation and a tool of annihilation. In the end, the story of American technology in World War II isn't just a story about machines. It's a story of how human ingenuity, when pushed to its absolute limit by necessity and fear, can change the course of history. The war may have ended in 1945, but the technological world it created is the one we all still live in today. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories that shaped our world.